Welcome back everyone to another video. Today we're going to be looking at it in advance. I'm just going to kind of walk through what's going on here. Excuse me. So this is Team B. Last night we were running 2 advances and I was part of Team B. Then from what I heard, Team A, I think for the most part tied. They had to fight Fines and Relic as well. So they did 2 last night, and this is the first group that we did. So we are going to be fighting not so great clans, not so hard to beat compared to what Team A had to fight. I'm only going to do one, the first one that we did, because when I did the second one, I activated my microphone for it, and it caught me breathing and everything, and that to me just wasn't really a good, doesn't make good content. So I was on TeamSpeak chatting with the boys while the caller was making calls and stuff, and while we were chatting. And I don't know why, but it didn't record that audio for some reason. So if there's a way to fix that, let me know. I had it up on my second monitor, so that could be why. I don't know how Xbox Game Bar works, but from my understanding, it's supposed to record it all. It didn't. Not a huge deal, but it is something that I found slightly annoying. So yeah, we're in the 20s positions right now. That's what we ended up with last night. I think we ended at 22, if I remember correctly. And yeah, I was able to get into this clan because I know a guy, and he's like, well, you need to grind the CS, but you have everything else. So he wanted 277 CS, EBR, and I think that's and an S-Conk, and I'm like, well, I have 277, I have E3, and so I have the most of the tanks that he wants. He's like, well, since you have 277, so don't worry about an S-Conk. So here we are. So we're fighting, I believe they're called Pay to Win. I'm pretty sure is what that stands for. Yeah. They actually did get kind of lucky with certain things. Like, there were some things that we did that just weren't, like, workable. So the caller, at first, I don't remember the call exactly, but I know that he wanted me to go, in the beginning, he wanted me to go at H1 where he pinged, but he changes his mind and wants me to go to H3 instead, just because of the lineup that they have. They have an EBR, we have 2 EBRs, so it is crucial that we kill their light tank, because if you kill the enemy light, a lot of the times you can just win control over the map, because
Are you changing the 2790?
and yeah, I guess you can hear the in-game volume, but, we're not going to worry about that right now. So, both of our EBRs have spotted, and it looks like they're wanting to push 1-2 line at first, or they're either going to be camping, were our assumptions at first. So the right flank, that's where the caller wanted most of our guys to go, so that's exactly what we're doing. And except for me and the 279 are here just to make sure that we can try to at least slow them down, or for whatever reason, you don't ever want to have your fort. You want to have a little bit of map control, from what I've witnessed. So there's the 260. I can't really do anything to him, even with heat. I can't really pin his turret reliably, so I just have to sit here and wait. He wanted a lot of our chieftains just to kind of sit in the middle, just to catch it in case if they, just to be able to catch up a yellow rush if they decided to do one down the 1-2 line or down the 9-0. They haven't. They're kind of, like I said, where you pretty much see them is pretty much where they are. None of them have rushed really anywhere. They're all kind of just camping in that corner back there for the moment, which I guess is fine. We're kind of in some interesting positions. So what our caller is doing right now is he's aligning all of our chiefs. He wants them to relocate, and he's going to get ready to push down the 1-2 line, is what he wants to do. You can see there I just completely missed my shot, because, you know, that's 277 gun for ya. And yeah, he wants me to go and help flank the mediums. He wants me to kind of lead like a kind of an aggressive assault almost on the 0 line. So I am going to be rotating that way. I'm not sure what the goal was at the end of there because, again, they're hold down chiefs. I'm a 277, so I'm not sure what his idea exactly was. I'm not sure what he wanted me to do other than to maybe just scare the chieftains. I believe, if I remember correctly, I believe he wanted me to kind of bait the enemy into thinking that that us heavies were rushing the 9-0, and that would force them to fall back to the A line, and that would allow our forces to make an easier push on the 1-2 line. I think that's what his idea was. If what I remember correctly. So yeah, I'm making my way there now, and he's asking our Leo to snipe there so that way he can take positions there to support me and the 9-0. But yeah, like I said, it was it's definitely a different calling style. It works, like, don't get me wrong, it's pretty cool to see. It's just something that I'm not used to. Yeah, so there's the 9-0s. So he wanted me to rush to there. I was asking him, like, well, how far do you want me to push? If I push any further than this corner right here, these hold down chiefs are just going to farm me for free, so there's nothing really I can do. I was going to fire there at that chieftain, because I do have a kind of a slight chance of penning that. If you saw it for, like, the first, like, 2 seconds I aimed at him, we did have an orange spot. But it wasn't, you know, worth it, I don't think. So like I said, I don't still fully understand the purpose of coming here, but as you can see now, our chieftains are, and our 279 is also moving up. So I do take a shot, of course it bounces. So as you can see now, we are making an aggressive assault on the 1-2 line. I know I'm kind of repeating myself. And I'm hoping just to keep these two chieftains distracted because if it's 1 versus 2, so that guy, our caller, who you just saw him ping, he wants me and the 9-0s to flank that way around, but it's kind of risky, so I have to be really careful. So I am actually wanting to cross down the F line, but on the south side of that little hill there, where the lights usually like to peak in the beginning, because then I might get spotted, but at least then it'll keep me kind of safe from enemy fire. So I don't know why he wanted us to ping so closely. It's mainly because he wanted a crossfire on their tanks on the 3-4 line. I know that's the only reason he did that there. But again, it's tricky. Like, I don't know. The caller did pretty good, I think, anyway. I mean, he did better than me. If I tried to call, it would be an absolute wreck. I have no experience whatsoever calling. And then right away we noticed that we're actually getting flanked from behind. So those two chieftains, the second they saw me gone, they decided to go ahead and flank. So now me and the two 9-0s and whoever else is with us, the Leopard and the EBR, have to fight these guys. So I do have to fall back into a better position. And like I said, their EBR has to die. I do get a lucky bounce there from the chieftain. He shoots to the side of my turret and it bounces. I do shoot him in return and track him. We do get a nice high roll. And so now we have to just focus these guys one by one. We can't shoot. If we shoot different tanks, we just die. Simple as that. So I'm gonna ignore the chieftain behind me because he is less of a threat to me than the two guys in front of me. So I'm just gonna push this chieftain here. He isn't exactly a hold down. I'm gonna try to see if I can face hug him a little bit. And try to maybe gun block him. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. But me and this 9-0 focusing him. We're going to try to bring him down to a one-shot, and he is. He misses a shot, which is good for me. Unfortunately, the EBR was behind me the whole time. And our 1-2 line was able to successfully push that, and they were able to focus fire and take that out. So this is going to be a win for us. The only thing that we really have to lose is the only thing we can't do is we can't go in one by one and fight them individually like that. Otherwise, we automatically just lose. So, yeah. That's pretty much it for this match. A well fight. Like I said, these guys, I'm not sure what would have been a better call if there was anything, or if there's anything I could have done differently. Like I said, I'm just trying to follow the calls because, like I said, I don't have much experience in advances. I have played advances before, like I was in a couple other clans before, um, and it seemed to work out pretty well. So their strats compared to what we're using now is, you know, they're quite different, especially on certain maps. I noticed, like you guys will see that later on. Um, but yeah, they were one tank down that game as well, so it's kind of understandable why they lose. They were already at a disadvantage, which is completely, you know, understandable. So for this, the caller wanted. Um, I'm surprised how many, you know, how many mediums he wanted, to be honest. And also, he wanted a 50B. Because I asked him if he wanted me to stay in 277. Or if he wanted me to go to 50B, and he told me, you know what, if you have a 50B, change to that. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, as you see here. Um, and he makes a really weird call here, too, and I'll kind of explain it. So, you know on the 1-2 line how everyone likes to bum rush that, right? They just, you know, they go through the whole line, and they just love to rush that with chieftains and stuff, go hold down. Um, And you know, and then usually like one or two people would go on the other side and flank, and then you'd send like a medium and a light tank inside the center to counter. But oddly enough, he wanted me to rush to kind of the CB1 area. So if you look there on the map on the right, it tells you, you know, what spawn you're going to be at, and basically that makes me a free farm for them. So, and a couple of people were pointing that out, and so I still wanted to support them. So he just told me just to kind of stay near the leopard. So we originally I go to G2-3. And the leopard was supposed to also be at G2 H2 area just to snipe the hill. Um, and all those pings are saying he's telling, you know, where the EBR should go, where the mediums go, where the chieftains go, stuff like that. So it it's a process, and I'm still am very impressed and very amazed of how people have come up with these calls. You know, especially if you, I guess if it's not terribly hard, if you have years of practice, like these guys do. I don't have that much experience. Like I said, I've only played advances for a couple of months, not in this clan specifically, but like I said, in other clans I've had some experience with. I mostly did EBR and 277 when I played advances with previous clans that I was in. I was a Tron member back then for a little bit, and then I was a Legio for a couple of other clans back then as well. They actually brought quite a lot of 277s this game, which I found very interesting. I'm surprised the rest of them they didn't do Chiefs. They also brought 279s. We didn't bring any 279s. We actually brought an AMX and just one 277. So originally he wanted the Leopard and the 277 to flank on the right side, and he wanted the AMX and the Chiefs to go 1-2 line. And right where he pinged right there at E1, that's where he wanted me to go. And like I said, I just get free farm from the hold downs. I wouldn't be able to do anything to them. So, like I said, I just stay at G2-3 area for the most part and kind of just play around. And this battle, from what I remember, it was pretty interesting too, because the way they pushed, like it's really interesting. So as you can see, our EBR spots them. They kind of push center, but then they don't. Like, they just kind of stop. And you'll see what I mean. They kind of, half of them kind of rotate back around to the 1-2 line, but then, like, not many of them. It's like maybe 2 or 3 of them. But then the rest of them just sit there. Like, I don't understand. And I didn't know what to do. I was trying to pay attention to the caller, and I was trying to make sure that I was safe from them. And yeah, look at that. A bunch of them are just kind of sitting there. For some reason, they don't go along the 3-4 line. I think it's because of the train track, I believe. I don't know entirely. I'm not sure why. But yeah, they left their light tank, and they left a Minotauro there, it looks like. So Archie, like, look at this. I don't think I've seen a battle like this before on this map. And yeah, it was really interesting. I was gonna shoot the EBR there, like I could have shot there, but I wanted to try to save my shells as much as possible, you know, not just throw them away. So I'm trying to peek very carefully here. I'm kind of in a weird spot right now. Like, it's just really weird. That was a poor shot aimed by me there on that 279. Um, and yeah, so I'm thinking I can probably peek the 3-4 line if I do it right. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to move over to the side here, see if I can help these chieftains. He wanted to separate their chieftains from the north from the south, so kind of like from the F line below, he wanted to separate, and we can actually box them in if we wanted. We just have to be careful because of the crossfire from the north. So they wanted to kill the north desperately. That was also a very unfortunate shot by me. Um, and it kind of worked. Like, as you can see, they're focusing. They're kind of pushing. Um, and at this moment in time, I don't know what to do other than just to keep trying to, you know, shoot things. Again, I miss a full mag, which is very unfortunate. So now I realize, okay, we kind of have them in a pincer a little bit, and there's a 279 and a chieftain that I'm able to farm. Um, and yeah, he wanted our. As you can see, he's telling the chieftains in the north to push that. They wanna pincer them. Um, and yeah, I think this was a pretty good fight. So there's the 279. We're gonna be able to finish him off with these 2 shots here, and then they have a 277 pushing, and so we're just gonna try to clip him a little bit. We do get a full mag out, and we do actually end up high rolling a couple shots, so that's nice. Actually, no, never mind. We don't. We don't get a full high roll. I believe it's 1600 average for a roll for a magazine. And as you can see, our pincer worked, and they kind of just became scattered all over the map, just in small groups of 2 or 3, or even just 1, as you see there. And so this game, pretty much a win for us. It was very interesting to see the way that worked. And so now I'm just going to rush this chieftain. I don't care if I bleed. It doesn't matter. We've pretty much won already. It doesn't matter. And we do take out that chieftain. And I just decided just to go for the reload. I'm not going to have shots. And I'm just going to try to ELO down this the center here. Try to help our other guys that are there. Again, at this point, I'm not sure why the caller is still calling at this point. Like, we pretty much won. We can just YOLO them. No issue. They can't really win this easily. It is still losable, don't get me wrong. Like, if they focus our one-shots, it's very easily losable. So he does shoot us once, but we do end up putting a round into him. And so now I'm just going to rush. I'm thinking maybe I can help focus this guy, but the 2 chieftains will get him, so there's no point in me going. And I'm going to try to help our leopard, because he can get absolutely obliterated by this 277. However, he does get set on fire, which is just absolutely amazing. Look at that, fire there. We do get 1 shot into him, and we are going to finish him off for the last kill of the game. And we ended up on that 3.7, and that was actually the very first game that I played the 50B in any advance, so that was quite interesting to see. And well done by our team, and well done by the caller as well. That was very well played. Again, kind of weird, but it still worked nevertheless. And yeah, it ended up going pretty well. For their team, at least this time they had an extra guy, so they weren't down 1 person like they were the first game. And so now we're on proc. I was going to do EBR, but he only wanted 1 EBR for the moment. And so I actually, because I have the CS, that's what I'm going to play, because that's what he wanted. He wanted 3 CSs, and then I think 1 or 2 279s, 1 EBR, 1 Leo, and then the rest Chiefs, I believe is what he wanted for this call. And so I told him, give me just a sec, I need to switch to all gold. I use all gold most of the time whenever I'm in advances, unless if I'm low on credits, and I was grinding credits. The last couple days I've just been grinding credits for advances, so that's what I usually do anyway. But yeah, we actually have a happy hour member. He's one of our legios, as you can see. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a little sleepy. I can't remember what he picks. I think he picks a chief. I think this match. I'm not entirely sure. Um, I'll have to remember. I don't remember, guys. It's been so long. But yeah, while we wait, I'm gonna talk about the CS a little bit. I might make a video about it. I don't know. But I really do like the tank. It's good. It reminds me kind of a it's like it's a good tank. It's kind of situational with certain things, like kind of like the Leopard, where where you can't make trades. It reminds me of like a Leopard and an EBR kind of put together combined because of the speed and because of the gun. The gun is fine other than the accuracy. Like, the accuracy isn't the greatest. Like, as you see right now, it's .32, which isn't horrible. But for me, I'm used to the Leo, which has, .25, and that for me is a slight annoyance. But it is what it is. And I put the Killzor setup on it, so I have Turbo, Rammer, and V-Stabs. The biggest thing I've noticed with the CS is that its gun handling is absolutely awful when you're in speed mode. Which is completely understandable. It makes it kind of balanced, and it gives the speed mode and it gives the medium mode a purpose, which I like. And because of that, I feel like I like it. It's a good playstyle. It's different for me to learn. I haven't done too great in it. My mark percent is about the same amount of battles as I have. So it's at, let's see, I've played like 26 games in it, I think, and it's at 26%. Which I don't know if it's horrible or good or bad or what, but I definitely could learn how to play it a little bit better. But yeah, I do enjoy it, and I didn't know I had the 3D style for it, which obviously I do, as you can see it. So let's get back to the advance. So for this one, the caller wanted the 907 to sit there on the tracks at what was it, J6, and then the CSs he wanted to send us to the hill, and then the Chiefs he actually wanted to sit around. He wanted the 279 and the 277s, if there were any, to sit at F56, and the Chieftains he actually wanted to sit at GF3. They're in that hold down, so that's exactly what they're gonna do. Their EBRs both their EBRs are being very aggressive right now, and I'm surprised he chose to. I'm surprised our caller only wanted one EBR. I've even seen as many as 3. Like, for example, when I was in Tron, we did 3. So there's the EBR. I want to get behind him, and I want to do that. I mean, just look at that. That was just absolutely hilarious. That was beautiful. This was kind of a mistake on our part and kind of on the callers, if I'm being honest, because we're now in a crossfire. But immediately the caller wants us to go kind of like that, and he wants us to kill the STB. I thought maybe I could make the jump there, but I can't. At least maybe at a CS I might be able to. Unfortunately, it didn't work. So now I just have to go up through the hill, and I'm going to help our CS. We're just going to kind of somewhat YOLO this, to be honest. So as you can see, he set the dinos up on the doors to try to flank these Chiefs at the center. Yeah, this is actually a pretty good strat if you ask me, because now they're kind of pincer. They're kind of, solo. So me and this other CS here are just going to focus this STB1. Because together he's just dead. Their Chieftain is there still, and their Leopard does get punished finally by the Ninos. Unfortunately, I do kind of low roll that Chieftain. I believe the Alpha, I can't remember if it's 390 or if it's 400. I'll have to look at that. But that Chieftain does die, and now, like I said, we've pretty much won this match now because everyone's just in a pincer. And from what I've noticed, that's how you win a lot of it, is just focusing firing the same tank, and if you can pincer them, like, then it's almost an automatic win because you have them in a crossfire. There's nothing that they can do unless if they make a really aggressive push. So I usually don't go for the kills, but because focus fire is everything, kills is everything in this mode, and that's what the caller wanted anyway. I mean, it's the right thing that you should do. I just take out the Super Conk. Unfortunately, we bounced the side of that S-Conk. Very unfortunate. So now I'm just gonna try to help snipe a little bit, see if I can help kill these guys here. So I'm gonna aim at the 60 TP, and we are gonna take him out. And like I said, we pretty much just dominated these guys. Unfortunately, I do miss the Minotauro. I think I aimed a little too far to the bottom left, and that's what made me miss. I could have gone in speedy mode here, but that would have taken some extra time. But it won't really matter too much anyway, because like I said, we pretty much won this. The second that we killed the hill there on the 789 line, we pretty much 7890. I'm sorry, we pretty much just won. So yeah, a well fought battle and a good call. I'm not sure what the enemy did wrong, or if we did anything wrong, other than when we climbed the hill there, when I tried to get up there, didn't work obviously. But yeah. So now we're gonna go on Fisherman's Bay, and I'm asking him if he wants 2 EBRs for this map. And I believe he said yes. I was talking to the other EBR to see if he wanted to switch. I told him if not, it's fine, don't worry. Because the caller wanted 279s and chieftains mostly, and I don't have either one of those at the moment. So yeah, I told him, I'm like, well, I also have a 121B. I have I can stay in CS or whatever. It doesn't matter. I was just so he wanted me to go 277, so that's what I'm gonna go in for now. Yeah, same thing with this map. Like, the pincer is incredibly important, and we actually got the good side of the map too, which is really good. Yeah, the south is just better in general because of all the bush lines for the mediums and the lights, and also because you can rush the 1-2 line a lot easier than you can from the south than you can the north. So I think I do switch to EBR. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember if we have 2 EBRs this round or not. But I do know that later on we do have one. So yeah, I do pick EBR. And then the other guy picks a 9-0 because, again, I don't have any of the reward tanks other than the 121B, which I bought with bonds. So yeah, he's telling me where to spot, how to spot, where he wants me to go, all that stuff. He's telling everyone where to go. It was kind of weird because he pings kind of the south of the map. He pings GH56. I don't remember if that's this match or not. But basically, he wants a couple of the chiefs to stay down there just to catch any push that they make on the city. As he pings there, and then he wanted the 279s on the 1-2 line, I believe, and then the mediums kind of just in the center. If I remember correctly, we'll have to watch the battle to see to know for sure. But yeah, it's this. I think this map really only has like 2 or 3 tactics that can actually work, and that's rushing center or rushing either flank, and getting them in a pincer, of course, if you can, if they're pushing center, just to catch those. So yeah, they brought 2 EBRs this match. I'm kind of surprised, but also kind of not, because, like I said, a lot of guys you could spot down the 2-3 line, and the other EBR can spot down the 7 line, 6-7. But yeah, I don't remember if we win all of them. I think we lost one of them. I can't remember. I don't know if it was against this clan or if it was against another clan, but it is what it is. So I have to have the directive with optics to get 446 view range. Otherwise, it's like 443 if I don't have the directive. And then of course I have food. You have to have food in an EBR. There's no question about it. I decided to load HG because I'm likely going to see their EBR, and so I want to make sure that I get the most damage possible if I have to fight them one-on-one. And he does get spotted right there. There he is. We actually do end up missing. So yeah, I'm just going to try to make my movements a little unpredictable, but I'm not that good at EBR, so of course I'm going to get shot. Their EBR does miss me, of course. Oh wait, that's right. He wanted a lot of the chieftains to go in 1-2 line. That's right. He wanted half going there, and then the 279s and the AMX in the center. That's right. And then he sent 190 to the right just to see if they were pushing that. So now I'm gonna try to see if I can spot the right flank here. We know briefly where they are, which is good. And yeah, our chieftains are making an advance there on the 1-2 line. I believe they do have a bunch of campers there. I think they have their 277s and 216, 279, etc. on there. That was a terrible shot by me. So I'm just trying to avoid getting shot as much as I can. Just trying to see if I can annoy the enemy a little bit. Yeah, that's really the most I can do, to be honest. An unfortunate miss there, but again, it's not reliable to shoot on the move in any tank. So yeah, I'm just trying to keep this EBR from flanking. Again, another unfortunate miss, but thankfully the enemy EBR does miss us. And so now, they're starting to kind of push the center. So I was kind of thinking that's what they were gonna do. And it looks like a couple of them actually rotated back with their guys, and we actually do end up penning that guy, but we actually failed to pen with HE, which is quite unfortunate. When I believe we hit his wheels, which is probably what happened, because we're auto aiming. Unfortunately, the 1-2 line does fall, and again, another very unfortunate miss by me on the enemy EBR. We are for now. I believe this is the battle we lose, because we kind of just got into a crossfire when we pushed 1-2 line. They were also able to shoot us from behind because of the center, because the enemies that they had in the center. So I believe that's, yeah. So this is the match that we do lose, and yeah, it's quite unfortunate. But I think this is the only one we lose, if I remember correctly. But yeah, unfortunate there. So we actually do get shot by the EBR, and I can't drive clearly, so I just hit the building, which is, you know, not uncommon for me. Just kind of tunnel visioning of where I'm driving, so I just need to be a little more careful, I guess. So now I'm just going to try to run away, see if I can get some damage, and that was a lovely snapshot there on the Super Conqueror. I'm actually really surprised that happened. But yeah, the enemy did pretty well this battle, I think. It's definitely been their best battle. You know, it's been their only win, but, you know, it's fine. There we go. We actually hit that shot. That was a nice shot there. We actually high roll. And the guy, once again, that 279 had a double mic, which is also unfortunate, but it is what it is. So I'm actually gonna try to kill their EBR. He got behind the building, so just, you know, poor aiming on my part again. And so now I'm just gonna try to farm as much damage as I can, maybe get a couple kills. I think we bounced that. Yeah, we do. And so now I'm spotted, so now I just want them to chase me. And I do on purpose drive in front of the chieftain here. I was going to drown myself, but I'm like, whatever. I don't really care that much. There we go. The chieftain hits me. But yeah, their EBR actually crashed there at the end, which was kind of funny. But yeah, I think what we learned from that is that we don't want to push 1-2 line as aggressively with a crossfire there, as we should have. Because their 279s, they could just overpeak the 1-2 line if they wanted and stay hull down, and there's nothing you can do against them. The Chiefs are just kind of stuck there. So I think that was probably the biggest mistake, was sending as many guys there as we did instead of keeping them in center, or having them flank around on the right side there, on the east side of the hill. That's just me though, but you know, that's something that was brought up. So this time, I think they do want. I think he does call for a second EBR. I'm not entirely sure. The other guy that was in EBR, he asked me what tank I was in since we're trading kind of positions. I told him I was in CS. So he does have one, of course. And I think we're doing the same strat as last time. You know, which is pretty normal. But but you know, it's not easy to call. I've tried it like a couple. Tier 6 and 8 I can do. 6 you don't really have to call much unless if you're working with a bunch of regular puppies, then you kind of do. But eights are pretty easy for the most part. Pretty easy. Uh, Sixes of course are they're easy. Tens though it's a whole different it's a whole different ball game. Whenever you're going to tens, excuse me, and yeah, I mean it's it's difficult. I'll admit that you need a lot more experience. You need a lot more knowledge of what the enemy will do. Because if you know what they're gonna do, then you could make a lot better setups. You could make a lot better lineup for your tanks as well. And it's nice too that you could see the map. Because if it was random map, it would be so hard to tell. So for this call, I think he wanted a couple mediums to snipe in the back. Actually, no, I think that was a different match, but, yeah, it was actually a different match, I believe, where he wanted the mediums to sit in the back, and, instead of going on the 9-0 line. I don't remember if that's this battle or not. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, if you're wondering what tier 10s I have, the only one that you're missing,
Are you gonna call for those 2 chieftains
besides
to roll over the top?
past the E5 is the E3. But all those other tier 10s that you saw, those are the only tanks that I own at tier 10. Which isn't a bad thing. Like, it was enough to get me into this clan, so. Most of the guys here are, 3K plus win 8. I'm a 2300 roughly. So I'm not, I'm one of the lower guys in the clan. There is a couple lower than me. There's like, I think 3 or 4 people that are lower than me. Maybe 5 if that. But everyone else is about the same. They're between 7 and 9K. I think the highest we have is a 9K WTR. I know that doesn't mean a whole lot. Like, I know that rating isn't very accurate for a lot of people. But that's just, I'm not saying that it's a good rating, but that's what it is. So yeah. So he wanted the caller made kind of a weird play for me. I mean, this is normal what I'm doing right here. Like what he called me, what he wanted me to do. This is completely normal. But he wanted me to go straight across the F line into the onto the 7 line, which I thought was really weird because I'm just in a really bad crossfire from their heavy tanks. There's not much spotted at the moment, but that'll change here pretty quickly, as we'll see here in a minute. Yeah, there they are. So if I would have actually died there, I would have just straight up died because of their chieftains. Yeah, it would have been really bad. So it's a good thing that I stayed here rather than just YOLOing into the 7 line. So, and he wanted me to spot them there, but again, that I didn't argue with him or anything. Like, I'm not disagreeing with anything he said, but I'm not gonna just willfully follow his call and just YOLO and die right away. That's not smart of me. So now I'm just gonna try to be annoying, see if we can flank them. And we kind of have them in a little bit of a pincer right now, from the hill, and because all around there, the center. Yeah, it's very interesting to see. But now I'm just gonna try to flank them around. As you can see, a couple of our chieftains are pushing over, and we do have to be careful here because we are in a crossfire as well, because they're EVR and they're SCOG. They're all up here in the north, so we do have to be careful here. So I have to kill this EBR, and of course I keep missing, which is completely my fault. Like, as you can see, I kind of aimed there a little bit, and I kind of snapshot it. Very unfortunate that I miss, but that's just part of it. So, yeah, I shoot again. He moves. I should have aimed just a little to the left, and I would have actually got him. Very unfortunate. But I believe I think our 279 takes him out if I remember, or our 90. I can't remember. So now I'm just gonna try to shoot this S-Conk. We do high roll him though for 410, which is nice. Their EBR does get away And yeah, the caller wasn't too happy about that. So he actually said he saw like 5 or 6 people shoot at that EBR. I wasn't the only one who missed him. So it's good. I felt a little better after that, knowing that it wasn't just me who missed. It wasn't just my fault. Even though it was, but so now I'm gonna track the HAVOK, which is nice because now it allows my allies to farm him a little bit. Um, and he does die for it, thankfully. So yeah, like I said, we pretty much just held the pincer because of our mediums in the north. We were able to pincer them from there. The center, we had our chiefs rushing all over center on both sides from the north and south because they decided not to take anyone there. And yeah, we just pretty much just completely took them out. So they actually wanted me to cap because there was a slight chance that we could lose this because of our deployment. So the guy wanted me just to cap. I tried to shoot the lower plate of the chieftain. Unfortunately, it bounces, which is very unfortunate. Uh, that's just RG, and I know the EBR pen isn't very good anyway as it is. Like unless if you flank the tanks, like they're just kind of bad in general. But it's an EBR, so it's understandable. It kind of makes it balanced. Um, but yeah, I know I've talked a lot this battle, or not this battle, but this. You know, if you guys want me to do voiceovers for these advances, just let me know. If not, I'll just upload it as it is. I'm not gonna do an intro or anything for them. It's not worth it. So we do set the chieftain on fire there, and we are gonna get another shot in. Unfortunately, it actually just completely misses because EBR gun. Um, and yeah, we survived the game and we did what we could, other than not being able to aim at that EBR. In a well fought battle, a good call again from our callers, which is really nice to see. We actually have two, so we have Deer, the guy who created 7K originally, and then see he's one of the callers, he's one of the officers as well, and then the clan leader is also a caller as well. So yeah, another good battle there. We have to win one more because we lost that one, so we do have to do an extra battle. And this, I believe, is where we have 2 EBRs, I believe. I believe the other guy switches to 1. I can't remember. We'll see here. Yeah, I think he does switch to the EBR. Yeah, it's an interesting experience to say the least. So I'm happy that I get to be a part of this and just get more experience with advances and stuff, and hopefully get better at the game, learn something from these guys. So it was very good. The night before, I didn't record anything. I don't know if I'm gonna record every advance that we do. Unless if it's like a top clan, maybe then I'll keep the recording. But if it's not like if it's not like Give Up or something where it's a good fight, like we actually fought Give Up yesterday when I was on Team A. Today off again. I'm on Team B, and we actually tied them. I believe, if I remember correctly, we actually drawed. Um, and yeah, it was a good fight. So I was in 277 and CS then. I played mostly CS when I'm on Team A. So yeah, um, we do have 2 EBRs this game. This is the match that I'm thinking of where we have them. And we actually are on the same spawn too. We're actually on the good side as well. So we kind of got lucky there with that. Because of that, which I don't know if that affected it too much. I'm sure it influenced it a little bit, but I'm not entirely sure if it completely, uh, completely gave us the win or not. I don't know, to be honest with you guys. I'm trying to remember the call that he did for this to explain it to you guys, but we'll see again. I think this is where he had the 279s or whoever, and the mediums or whoever, sit in the very back. And he's explaining what to do if we have to rotate around. So that's why he was pinging the south of the map. So yeah, I tell the other EBR to go right, and I'm gonna head left, obviously. just easier, faster positioning and stuff like that. So, you know, and it makes sense. Doesn't make sense to get in each other's way. So, um, we are going to go ahead and spot the 1-2 line. They tell me to kind of go kind of deep on the 1-2 line to like as up to like D2-ish even. Not to the point where I'll die, but one thing too that I like is that the second you see the enemy, don't try to like hide and take cover. Just stay focused. Like it's fine to take a shot, and you know, it's better to take a shot and get into a position of what the caller is asking, because it could, you know, win or lose the game. Which I found very interesting, and I thought that was really helpful. So, and that's what the other EBR was explaining to me. So, and I thanked him for that. So it's good knowledge to know about that kind of thing. So there's their EBR. I'm gonna keep driving a little bit. So there they are. And once again, of course, I've loaded HE for the first, you know, shot or two, just to see if I get any luck of penning him or get any luck of you know, getting a high roll or whatever. Because the quicker we can kill these EBRs, the easier it will be to control these maps. We do get hit by one of their EBRs, unfortunately, but thankfully, my EBR and our Leopard are able to hit him pretty easily. So our Leopard's just farming him. We actually do hit that snapshot. That was a beautiful shot. That was probably the best shot I've had all night. So now they want us two EBRs to rush the north again. They want to catch in the south, as you can see, the chieftains there, as I was mentioning earlier. They want to catch them pushing in the city, and then we also want to try to pincer them from the north as well. So it's all about focused fire here. It's all about positioning, especially with this map here. It's especially huge. So I tell the other EBR, we have to kill this guy. We have to kill this other enemy EBR. Unfortunately, I miss. I didn't aim far enough to the left, so I miss. I was very scared in this moment, if I'm being completely honest. So we're told to rush these guys here in the north, so that's exactly what we're gonna do. I actually do end up hitting the EBR that time. Finally, I aimed my shot, got a nice little high roll on him as a reward. So now in this moment of time, just before I'm about to farm the heavies for a little bit, but then the caller wants both EBRs to focus the Sturv, so that's what we're gonna go do. Which, you know, I should have thought of earlier, but it's, you know, it's fine. So now that Sturv is gonna stay distracted by our other EBR, and that's gonna allow me to flank him to the side here, and gonna get a free shot and a kill. So now he's dead, so now I'm just gonna sit here behind the buildings and just farm the heavies. Yeah, that's ultimately what kind of helps us win this game, is just being able to flank over. And yeah, unfortunate bounce there, but you know, it's a 2790, so it's expected. So now just gonna keep moving forward. The caller wants us to move a little bit more, just to have easier shots, which, you know, totally makes sense. I could have aimed out a little more, maybe to the right a little bit, so that was completely my fault. And so now we're gonna continue to move up, see if we can get some more shots. We're gonna aim at the S-Conk. Our other EBR, thankfully he does kill the one-shot S-Conk, which I wasn't paying attention to, but it's a good thing I didn't waste my shots. It's a good thing that he was aiming at them. We do shoot the side of the 279E. For some reason, the S-Conk decides to shoot us rather than the several chieftains and BKKs that are in front of him. So, you know, very interesting on his part. I am gonna, unfortunately, it doesn't go through because it's spaced armor, and we all know how that goes with with lower calibers. So I am gonna load heat here for the 279. He's angled a little bit, so I don't think I'll be able to pet him. It does bounce. So the caller wanted us EBRs to focus that 277 over there. Again, it's already a win, but you know, it's just for practicing. So me and this other EBR are going to go ahead and bully this 277. It's a good thing I didn't fire, because I would have accidentally shot the other EBR. Unfortunately, we do bounce with heat, but you know, again, Pen isn't very good on this tank. He actually does kill me and does high roll me for that. So good, well played to the enemy 277 there. So I wasn't being too cautious about it, which was again my fault. That's why I died. But we do end up bringing the win home for the final battle, and we do end up winning this advance. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Let me know if you want me to still do voiceovers or if you want me to not. Anyway,